What is the crack, everyone? B2B Sports, we are back. Standard procedure. Sam is here. As always, we're recording on a new software today, so hopefully, fingers crossed, everyone will be able to
We'll
see
see what
this
happens.
at some point. But yeah, let's crack on. Premier League is back and well and truly underway. How would you assess United's season so far, man? It's been a bit of up and down.
I would say at the moment, less than ideal. Got off to a very shaky start against Wolves, but got the win. Possibly should have given away a penalty. Oh, then we lost to Spurs, obviously. But again, I watched the first half of the Spurs game, and that was very promising.
Right, okay.
We had like 25 shots in that game. I don't think I remember a game where we've had 25 shots before. And I know we lost it in the second half and played awfully, but it was still a bit promising. And then the game against Notts Forest, just what you want to do when you play football is give your opponent 2 very early goals, just to set the benchmark of what your comeback's going to be like.
Just making it exciting for everyone, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Everyone paid their ticket to see a good game, and they got that. So, no, it's been disappointing. 2 wins out of 3, I think, is as good as we could hope, and we've been quite lucky in getting that. So yeah, I'm not rushing to any conclusions that we're going to be winning the league or anything at the moment, because we're still very much not working together as a team as well as we should, and our defence is looking somehow worse than last year.
Thoughts on Onana?
It's difficult. I think he had big shoes to fill. Obviously, his distribution is great, and obviously we bought him partly because of that. Pre-season shot stopping was better than his Premier League season. Obviously, he got lobbed from the halfway line, but it's probably because he was playing sweeper-keeper and just off his line. But in terms of him actually saving shots, he's been a bit hit and miss in the Prem. Obviously, just tried to decapitate a Wolves player in the first game, and then made an awkward-looking effort against Nottingham Forest.
Very awkward, yeah.
So yeah, interesting, but I think it's only up from here. Surely, must be only up for him, really.
So.
Yeah,
I think because Man United have had such a history of good goalkeepers, it's weird to see someone that's a little bit.
That's the thing. So we've had a history of good goalkeepers, but in between, there's been some really shit ones. Like we had, obviously, Schmeichel, great for so long. And then in between that, we had very suspect goalkeepers until we had Van der Sar. I think. I'm trying to look.
What his name was. You had a proper.
With the French goalkeeper,
Fabian Barthez.
Fabian Barthez, who was very wild, did a few random things. We had, what's his name?
There was one that dropped.
The guy.
One that dropped.
Yeah, dropped against Spurs.
I can't remember his name. He had like quite.
I can't remember his name either. So yeah, and we've sometimes gone through a bit of a phase. And obviously, when we first looked at De Gea, everyone thought he was a bit of a flop because he was a bit suspect in his first few games, but then became one of the best keepers in the league. And the fact that he doesn't still have a team is, I think, ridiculous.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and the fact that I don't understand, we've just let Tom Heaton go. Like, what keepers do we have?
Again.
Not Tom Heaton, sorry.
Dean Henderson.
The English keeper. Dean Henderson,
yeah.
Like, what's going on?
That was an unusual one to begin with, because Dean Henderson was it at the time Sheffield United's number 1 keeper, and then United signed him, and it was almost like they signed him because they knew that De Gea was going at either that season or the next season, and
then we loaned him out.
Just loaned him out again. It was really strange, because he was at that point he had momentum. Dean Henderson was a great young keeper, and a lot of people were talking about him being the next biggest thing. And then that move almost was such a strange move for his career, and he made De Gea worse, and he made him worse as well at the same time.
Honestly, it's very odd. But yeah, it's I don't really understand. So obviously, we just signed that new player. Is it Amrabat or
Amrabat, yeah, he
something?
had a good World Cup. Was it last year?
Yeah.
For Morocco, but I haven't heard much about him since. I don't know how he's going to fit in. I'm sure he'll do all right.
Yeah, I hope so. We need something, so I'll take anything at this
You've
point.
also got Reguilon as well, haven't you? Sam Reguilon,
Did we?
on
I
loan
missed that.
from Tottenham apparently for his left back cover because apparently the
I
Cucurella
do
deal
sure.
fell through.
Oh no! Did we not get Cucurella? Oh damn! What the fuck was that? That rumor was the worst. I saw that and I was like, this is pointless. Like this season is pointless if we're going to get like none of the players we really need. Signing some people we like that Hodgberg or whatever his
Yeah,
name is. And it's just it's been a frustrating start to the season.
it's been unusual. Like
Um,
obviously you've spent a lot.
yeah,
You've spent a lot of money. There's no doubt about that. But the players obviously, like you said, is it Hoyland? Like he's obviously injured. I think he might be available over the next couple of weeks. To be fair, but obviously he's been out, so he's missed the start of the season. You obviously had Mount that's not had a great start to the season so far. It,
I mean, I feel like he's had an okay
okay,
start. It's not the
yeah,
worst, not the
he's
best.
that. Yeah, it seems a little bit strange. Obviously, you're spending money, but are they on the right players? You've got to let time do its
Yeah,
thing, I guess.
like I said, 2 wins out of 3 is the best I could
Yeah,
hope
I
for.
mean, you're still above Chelsea in the league, aren't you, so far?
Yeah, well, that's not bad.
Let's move to Chelsea anyway. Chelsea have signed Cole Palmer from Man City for 40 mil. I think the deal was done today officially.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's a great get, to be
I
honest.
yeah, I think it's a. I'm gonna hold my hands up. I actually haven't seen him play a lot, to be honest with you.
Didn't he win like player of the match in the Super Cup?
He might have done. I think he probably started featured heavily in that. I didn't. Again, I didn't watch
I
the
think
Super
he
Cup.
scored.
I think he did score in the Super Cup. I think he did score. I didn't watch the game. Um,
I think he won the man of the match. So I think that's a great get from Chelsea, to be honest. 40 mils a lot.
40 milli's a lot. And it's unusual for Pep to give away homegrown talent like that. He's a Manchester boy.
Yeah,
It's unusual. Does he? It almost kind of makes you think. Does he know something that Chelsea don't? Do you know what I mean? Because he's such like a mastermind.
probably that he could get a 40 mil for him.
And keep them safe within FP.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
So
I'll take it though. We'll see how he does. Obviously, we needed more creative. Nkunku's out for the majority of the season now, so we needed probably one more player in there that's a creative player. But we'll see how he does. Whether he'll feature against Nottingham Forest this weekend, I don't know. But he seems like
we should.
a good lad with a lot of potential, and obviously only early
Mm,
20s. So um,
yeah, no, I think that's a good
yeah,
get. To be honest, I still don't know what Chelsea are
yeah,
yet.
it's unusual, isn't it? Like we're trying to find our
Um,
team still.
I still feel like you're a team of midfielders. That's all you seem to
Honestly,
have.
it's such. This Chelsea's transfer window has been such a revolving door. It's mad how many players have left. Obviously, we've got
Yeah,
quite a new additions, but the amount of players that have gone as well is crazy. Like it's starting from fresh, really, all over again,
yeah.
with a couple of people that are here from last season. But what one of the players that is here and is had a complete and utter revival this season under Poch, Raheem Sterling. Like, what do you make of his start to the season? Like, he looks like a different player. Like,
He does. I think the Poch has got much more attacking, kind of running at the play, running at the defence, and I think it's great. I mean, Sterling's a great player. I'm not sure if he deserved an England call up just
do you
yet.
think? Do you think so?
I know you were pulling
Yeah, I
for
was.
one,
I was.
but I don't think he's proven himself that much yet. I mean, yeah, I still think it's early doors. I think being Chelsea's best player at the moment isn't that big an accolade.
That's rude, mate.
I feel like that's like winning man of the match and when the rest of the team are
Come
hockey
on, we
players.
just won two on the bounce
Uh,
the first time in about 6 months, mate. Like, give us a break.
it's true. And one was against Wimbledon.
Yeah, true. And we went 1-0
So,
down for the majority of
uh,
that game.
exactly. Had to have Enzo Fernandez had to score his first goal or whatever
yeah.
to win that. But no, I think it's they're playing better than they have done. Still interesting, but again, it's very weird to have both Chelsea and United in such a weird flux of what's actually going on here.
It's such a transitional period, and going back to Sterling, like
Yeah.
he looks so more direct this year. Like last year, he was playing. I think he said in an interview with Sky Sports, he was like playing with his back to goal a lot, like almost as a striker, like a big physical number 9 would, like receiving the ball and like laying it off to someone in midfield. But he's picking the ball up wide or deep and running at defenders, and that's what he does best. Like with a bit of confidence as well. So I can't knock his performances so far this year. And like one more player that I'd just like to mention from Chelsea is, mate, he's the new Drogba. Nicholas Jackson. He's the new Drogba. I love the bloke already, mate.
Already, well, not surprising. He's somebody scoring goals for Chelsea. So you can
I mean, he's only scored one, to be fair to him, but in what he's done, how he's gone about it, he's quick off the ball. He works hard. He's physical. He's looks like he can finish when he gets the opportunity. Yeah, I just like what I see from him. He looks promising in this league, to be honest. And I need him to get 19 more goals for my bold prediction.
True. He's on his way. He's on his way.
20 or 20 plus Prem goals are predicted at the start of the season for Jackson. Is pretty bold. I've just seen that Callum Hudson-Odoi has gone to Notts Forest, and it's like a deal which is like under 10 mil, which is mental. Do you remember like about 4 or 5 years ago, he was going to go to Bayern Munich for about 50 mil?
Yeah. What a downgrade that is.
It's a little bit of fall from grace, isn't it? It's pretty crazy.
A little bit. I mean, I think that's the... I don't know, it's just... Obviously, he's not played too much. When he has played, he hasn't played great. So, yeah, I think that's a shame for him. I mean, going to Notts Forest, hopefully he can revive it, and Notts Forest are playing really well.
They're playing decent
at the moment. Yeah. So, fingers crossed he can pick it up. But, yeah, a deal under 10 mil for... in this day and age for a young player,
it's strange, isn't it?
Quite rare.
It's proper strange.
When Burnley are paying 32 million for a defender, they've just newly promoted.
They do. Newly promoted sides do this though, don't they? Just splash the cash like instantly.
I know Burnley seem to have the cash to spare as well. It's like Leicester in the Championship.
They spent loads, man. To be fair, they are top of the league at the minute, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm not
Birmingham are third in the league. Go on, Birmingham. Go on, Tom Brady. Love to see it. It's a Tom Brady effect, mate.
Apparently. They're going
up. I've heard that Barcelona have signed both Joao's. They've signed Joao Felix and Cancelo as well.
And Cancelo, that's a great
got them both.
Cancelo, I don't understand Cancelo. Like, he was at City, he was great, went to Bayern, like, somehow fell out with the Bayern Munich coach instantly, played a few games, when he did play, scored, and then now he's off again.
I think he's an actual proper decent player, unless he's got some off the field, behavioural problems where that's why coaches just don't really seem to favour him. But he's a baller. Like, he was the best left back in the league for like a couple seasons, and I swear that Pep switched him from a right back to a left back as well, and he did equally as good there. So
I was just surprised to see him leave City. So
what do you think on this mysterious club that have gone in for Salah for 150 mil, and apparently Liverpool have declined it?
Honestly, I'll take anything that takes Salah away from the Premier League at this point. Very happy for him to go. I'm very happy to see the look on every Liverpool fan's face when it happens. I will be texting my brother-in-law to see exactly his reaction when it does happen. But Salah's expressed his want to go. He said I think he's outwardly said like he would like to go. I think he's been very respectful and said, like, I won't go if Liverpool don't want to sell me. I'll run out my contract. That's fair. But if I can be bought, then I would be happy to go. And like to turn down 150 mil,
that's mad, isn't it?
I think obviously their intention is not to sell. But 150 mil is a big one to turn down.
Obviously, he's a world-class player and he's their top goal scorer. So selling him would be mad. But also, I think, why would they sell him at this point in the season? Just before, well, the season's already started. Deadline day is now completed. What, nearly 11 o'clock? It's nearly completed. So why on earth would Liverpool sell him? And they'll be left short until January. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. But then also at the end of the day, if they do sell him for upwards of 150, 100, 200 million, like they very much could go in for Mbappe when he finishes his contract. And like that can actually then rival Madrid.
That is true. And there's been a rumour.
So they could be a bit of a playing.
There's been a rumour about Liverpool trying to get Mbappe for a couple of years now. I don't know what would be worse though, Sam. Imagine how insufferable Liverpool fans will be then. Do you know what I mean? If they get Mbappe.
Oh yeah, that'd be awful. I would not like that situation at all. But I'm hoping that they sell him now, have to spend in January because they're doing shit, and then he's going to go to Madrid anyway. So
I mean, 150. I think there might even be a new bid now from a Saudi club for 200 for Salah. 200 mil for a 31-year-old is mad. That is crazy money, and obviously he's still incredibly good, but that's a lot of money. And I suppose if you have it, you have it. So you know. But
I think it's difficult. Obviously, it is a lot of money. They're going to be making a lot of money. He is going to a country where I think he speaks the language. It could be a good move, and obviously there are other players there that he knows.
Mate, Saudi League's gone crazy. Saudi League really taken off.
They've got everyone. Like Fabinho's running riot. It's going to be a big league. I don't know if they'll actually get their Champions League spot or whatever they're trying to get, but they're definitely attracting a lot of players.
Definitely. I mean, it started off when Ronaldo went, didn't it? It was like, oh, it's just the money league. It's never going to take off. But loads of players have gone there, and they're being quite clever with it as well. They're attracting players of Muslim faith or players of near that side of the world. So they've been quite clever with it and attracting the right players, and they can market them like to a T. They can market them perfectly.
Yeah.
But like, will we get to a point where the Saudi League has got so big where they're going to start to either merge a Champions League or have their own Champions League, and then there'll be like some Super Cup competition like to meet?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's difficult, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's good for football that more countries are getting big leagues and there's more competition around the world. I think at the moment, like Messi being into Miami, I think he's having the best time.
He's loving life, mate. He's loving life.
Honestly, he is absolutely balling out. That pass he did the other week outside the book, across the box. How does anyone make that pass? It's quite fun to see, to be honest.
It is. He's balling, and he scored pretty much every game, or got at least a goal or assist in every game. I don't know where they are in the league now, but did he get him to the final? They're still bottom. Did he get him to the final of the cup?
So they've won one cup, in which it went to penalties, and then they're possibly through to another cup, or they're in another cup still. Like they haven't lost a game that he's played yet. He's arrived and they've won every single game.
Instant impact. And I know that they've signed a couple of players that Messi used to play with, like Alba and that kind of thing. But he's making these players look like prime Barca as well. I know it's obviously a poorer league.
It's ridiculous. I know, but it's like every pass he does that they were 2-1 down in like the 96th minute, and he whips the ball in and he heads it in. Like, where did that come from? He's running right there. Like, they are bottom of the league. They're not going to win anything in terms of league at the moment. But if he pulls them up anything other than bottom, like
How
that's
far
improvement.
bottom are
Like,
they? Are they by a
I don't
lot?
know.
Yeah,
I'll have a
I'll
look.
look. It's
Because I'm happy for, like, I love David Beckham, so I'm happy that he's doing well. Oh, Inter Miami are no longer bottom. They are second bottom with 22
okay.
points. They have they're 3 games. They've got 3 games in hand on
Right.
13th, but they are 7 points
3
away from
games in
them. So
hand. I mean, that's 3 wins, though, isn't it? So they'll overtake.
yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous.
Unreal. What a guy. What
I
a
think it's
guy.
great. Lovely guy. I think he's it's actually fun watching him play, and he seems to be enjoying it the most that I've ever seen him enjoy. Like,
A lot
for a
more than
while.
PSG anyway. You know.
Yeah, no, definitely. In terms they literally, to be fair, they drew
Did they?
yesterday. They
Okay.
drew 0-0. Messi got a 4.4 rating out of 10. No, out of,
I was
out
gonna
of 5.
say.
Sorry. Imagine that was out of 10. How shit was that? No, but yeah, no, that's fun to watch at the moment.
Also, shout out Brighton as well. Whilst talking about transfers and stuff, they've signed Fatty.
What?
Like what? What? I know it's
Yeah,
only on loan. It's a loan deal at the minute. But what a signing that is. That's unbelievable. Like
yeah. I don't know how they've managed to pull that off, really, in terms of attracting him there. Obviously, they're doing well in the league. They're got some Europe,
they got a
um,
tough group
but
in
the fact
Europe as
that,
well. Haven't they? Ajax and
yeah, very
Marseille, I
tough group.
think. But then like mate,
Yeah,
Brighton. That's unbelievable. Imagine Brighton Stadium only holds about 20,000. Imagine like
yeah,
like them away fans going to Marseille. Marseille's got one of the best atmospheres in football. Like their stadium is like
yeah.
proper like cave like looking thing. Like,
Mm.
yeah, unbelievable,
No,
unbelievable.
I mean, they lost to West Ham last weekend, and they haven't lost to West Ham in like 15 games. And now they're getting fatty, and like, oh, it's
Unreal.
unreal.
Their attacking talent. I
All the
saw
best to
like a picture on Twitter, and
them.
yeah, all of the attacking talent, the young talent they've got is it's nuts. To be honest, I don't know how obviously their recruitment is top tier, is
Unreal.
unreal. But
And De Zerbi is a great manager.
yeah,
His coach
and
is good.
again, like obviously they had Potter who done well at Brighton on a tight budget, built Brighton up. You know, managed to get with the recruitment get players like Cucurella, Caicedo and stuff. And he goes obviously has a
Yeah,
nightmare at Chelsea, but De Zerbi just comes in just like
yeah,
their player rota. Like they lose one and then another one just pops up, and that's exactly what they do in
yeah,
terms of managers as well. So pretty
yeah.
crazy. Obviously, the Champions League draw was this week as well. Newcastle got the group of death, which is,
What a group that is for them.
I mean, it's a
Insane.
toss of a coin though, isn't it? It's like on one hand, it's like that's an amazing group to be back into the Champions League and have
Yeah,
those teams. And if you're a season ticket holder, what a set of away days you've got there. But on the other hand, you go, you're probably going to get knocked out of that group. you know,
yeah.
potentially not be in
It's,
Europe at all. Like if you finish bottom, so.
exactly. It's difficult, but I mean, I think that's a great set of games to be able to see a team play. And if they do manage it out of the group, like
What a story,
what a
man!
story that is.
What a story!
Um, United have an okay group.
Who have
It's not the
they?
best
Have they
group.
got? They got. Is it Bayern? Isn't it? Have they got Bayern in it?
Yeah, we've got Bayern. Yeah, which I mean, it's not terrible. I think what is it, Champions League group. I mean, we're gonna get like what's his name? Kane's gonna score like a hat trick against us. So
He
it's gonna be
literally is
sick.
as well. Like, there's no
So we got Copenhagen and Galatasaray in them
right.
as well in it as
Okay.
well. Like, that's not an easy group.
No, Galatasaray's probably tough away day, good atmosphere. I don't know if they'll be enough to challenge you. They might get a surprise result, but you expect Bayern and Man United to go through. Let's be real.
Yeah, he would do.
I think
That's the plan.
Man City again have got an easy group. I think
Yeah,
Barca have got a nice tidy group.
Arsenal
I
have an
think
easy
there's
group.
one more of a pretty easy, tidy group in there. But yeah, I mean the Champions League is gonna be interesting. Obviously, my attention's not on the Champions League this year, so
So is your attention on anything but the Premier League this
like,
year? Is it?
we're winning the Carabao Cup, mate. But yeah,
Yeah, Spurs
it's
on it,
true.
so it's fine.
It's true. I mean, yeah, Spurs, classic Spurs. I think uh, everyone's getting on the Ange hype, Ange, you know, on the Ange bus, and then it all went tits up in that game. But they were against Premier League opposition, and you do play your subs and your B side, don't you? In the early rounds of the Carabao. So yeah, I think criticism on Ange and Spurs is probably a little bit harsh there, but they've had a good start this season, to be honest. So other than that,
Have you seen who you're playing next in the Carabao
Brighton,
Cup?
Brighton,
Yeah.
yeah, bit of a derby game, mate. A bit of a rivalry going on. They
There
they
is at the
obviously
moment,
pushed
yeah.
us to sign Caicedo for 115 mil, which was steep considering his performances so far.
Was steep. That's outrageous that they managed to get 115 mil for him, and they've totally
Mate,
just
that's how they got
shafted
fatty,
you.
mate. Because we're
They've had
just
your pants
giving them
down.
money. We obviously,
Yep,
I don't know. Fair play, Brighton, though. Fair play.
there it is.
Um, but yeah, the Champions League and Europa League should be good this year. We'll keep an eye. I don't know when did the group stages start? When did the game start? I think
I
it's
don't
like
know, probably
yeah.
October.
But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Obviously, we've got international break after this weekend, which always seems to come around so quickly and so early, doesn't it? It's so dead. Like,
Yeah.
we'll quickly talk about women's international football because we haven't recorded a podcast since the World Cup final. Gutted, mate.
Absolutely gutted. It's just there was no words. We didn't play
No, we
well
didn't
for
play
one.
well enough.
The fact that we stayed in the game was quite big. Obviously, we started off well, and then we just got overrun towards the end. Towards the end, I mean, basically for the most of the match. Penalty was harsh, but I can understand why it was given.
Great
save
Mary.
from the penalty. Marriott, absolute national legend. But I think Spain did deserve it in the end. They were a much more attacking team, and
I think so.
more
They're
chances.
the better team on the ball. They pressed England quite well. England couldn't really, keep the ball for very long, which was a shame.
Yeah.
Players like Alessia Russo didn't really have an impact. She got took off. Lauren James couldn't really make an impact. Yeah, it was frustrating. I was gutted, absolutely gutted. I thought it was that was it. That was.
Yeah, no.
But shout out Serena Wiegman as well. Like she's an incredible coach. What was the record she got? She won.
Well, she's only lost 2 games. Oh, she's gotten to the last 4 major international trophy finals. Like she got to this World Cup final. She won England in the Euros. Got to the final with Netherlands last World Cup, and I think won the Euros before that. She's insane.
Would you, there's a big shouts for her to potentially be next England boss if Gareth Southgate was to get the boot.
But I think that would be great for the game. She's obviously a really good coach. I feel like the discussions of should she take over the England men's job as if it's a more important job.
Sure.
Weird. Seeing as the women's team have been arguably more successful. But I mean, I'd 100% take her as our coach. I think she'd be a great shout.
Obviously, she creates what it seems like she creates such a great atmosphere, and the players look so together.
Yeah.
But if she creates that atmosphere for England men, then I'm all here for it. We'll see obviously what happens with Southgate and stuff. I think if he doesn't produce in the next tournament, I think he's had a great run and he's done really, really well. I'm not discrediting that at all, but his time will come.
I think he's taken us through that wall
Yeah,
that
definitely,
England had for so
100%.
long. So yeah, I think we can only thank him for what he's done if he does go. And I don't think he's somebody that should be sacked, particularly, especially. There's always the should he be sacked during these internationals or qualifiers, because we don't particularly perform our greatest in the qualifiers, but when it comes to the tournaments, we're playing better than we ever have. And I don't understand, because that's the way
Yeah,
around I'd
true.
want it
True.
any day of
I
the
mean,
week.
at the time, I've got to admit, I hold my hands up. When England are playing in these World Cups, Euros, and we're scraping through or not playing to our full potential, like I was one of them. I was like, "Come on, Southgate, like it's your time now." But on reflection,
Mm.
if you look at what he's actually achieved in the game for England, we've never in our lifetime got to the heights that he's got at this England team to, and it's
No, and not gone
exactly.
on this run either of getting to these
And
points
it's an England
consistently.
side which is constantly producing more talent and talent that's going to get better and better. Look at Saka and Jude Bellingham. Like
Yeah,
they're early 20s. They're only going to get better and better as the years go by. So
mm.
we've got the players.
Yeah.
You like to keep the togetherness in the squad. So I'm all here for it. Providing we don't have a shock exit, then I'll be on the Gareth Southgate.
I feel like if we have a shock exit, then that's fair enough. I think it's probably good to call time on his
10-year reign. Yeah.
run. But yeah, we'll
We'll
see.
wrap up football now. FPL. How's it going for you, mate?
Not well. I've used my wildcard. Yeah, it's not going well. I've changed my team a lot, and now I'm just hoping that I can make up the points, because I'm
I've
really far behind.
I've used my wildcard this week. I've used it.
Yeah.
I had to get Sterling in, and I had to get James Maddison in because they're balling right now. And a couple of players were injured, so I was like, you get 2 wildcards a season, don't you? So I was like, might as well use it.
Yeah.
I got Bruno in. Got Bruno in as well.
Oh,
I went for a packed out
that's
midfield, but I got Bruno in. They've got Arsenal this weekend.
I've got to feel.
Got Arsenal this
I
weekend,
know.
so
That's a,
it will be, and I think they got Newcastle the week after. I think, well, after the international break. So tough couple of games. Bruno does
yeah.
step up, and he does take penalties. So I'm hoping
He
that
does.
they can be a little bit of a differential.
I've changed my team around quite a lot. I've taken both Rashford and Salah out. And literally, I've changed pretty much every one of my team
Yeah,
except for
Haaland's
Haaland.
a guarantee.
So I've got like Romero, Walker,
Yeah,
Estepinian, and then packed out the midfield like you have Mitoma, Mbuemo, Sterling, Odegaard, and Ward-Prowse. And then I would normally have Watkins and Haaland, but because Aston Villa are playing Liverpool, I put Wisser in.
yeah, he's balling out with
Brentford.
him and Mboma are doing really well at the minute, aren't they?
Yeah. And then I've got Saliba and Shukri on the bench as well.
Got a nice bench though. You got a nice bench
So,
as well. That helps as well if you need
yeah.
rotation and stuff. It's just so I don't
Yeah.
know. It's hard. It
So
is
hard.
hard. I mean, this might be an FPL hack. So if anyone's watching, what my go-to thing to do at the end of a game week is, if I need to make a transfer, I'll just go in the area. So if I need if one of my defenders is doing shocking or whatever, I'll just go on the defender, I'll go transfer out, and I'll literally just click on the most transferred in players on that week. And I'll have a look through the top 3 or 4 and I go, yeah, that'll do. So I basically just copy everyone else. I just copy everyone else,
Yeah.
Go with the majority.
That's not bad.
If it works, it
If it
works.
works, it works.
That's my little tactic. And usually the majority is right in terms of players that are playing well at that time. So I'm top at the minute of our little league. I don't know how much by.
Ridiculous. So you're on 181. I'm on 123. So nearly 60 points.
3 game weeks done
already
as well. 60 points, mate.
I know. I'm doing poorly in every
Can't
single
wait,
league
mate,
that I'm
for
in.
you to be a Chelsea fan for the day. It's gonna be good.
Oh fuck!
Up the Chelsea, up the
Fuck's
Chelsea.
sake. I forgot that was it. You have to watch a
Yeah,
Chelsea
be a
game.
Chelsea fan for the day, mate. For a whole
There's nothing
24
worse.
hours, man. Love it. But yeah, that wraps up football. We'll move to the American football now. It is 1 week. Well, the season starts next week, mate. I'm so buzzing.
Woo!
Unbelievably buzzing. I think the first game
Cannot
is
wait.
Thursday evening, so it'll be like Friday morning AM. And I think it
Yeah.
is the Detroit Lions, the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that is. I think that is.
Yeah, Chiefs Lions,
Could
1:20
be a good
a.m. on
opening game, to be
Friday.
honest. If Detroit Lions continue to trend upwards, I think that'll be a good game for an open.
Yeah.
Obviously, Pat Mahomes, you can't really write him off because he's unreal. But yeah,
Yeah.
any Patriots news this off season or any expectations going into the first game or
I mean, at the moment, we're going into the season with like one quarterback, so not that's always a panic. Got
great
Zeke,
get, mate.
which I think is a
Great
great
get.
get. Great back to have, as well as we've got Stevenson as well. So that kind of pairing will do really well because you're not giving all the snaps to one person. So yeah, I'm hopeful. We've got the Eagles as our first game, so I feel like we're going to start out the
Yeah,
season
Eagles.
0-1.
Eagles are good, and they don't look like they're going to slow down anytime soon either. So
So it's going to need like a Herculean defensive effort, or we'll just take that. We'll take that
take
loss.
that.
First game of the season.
Is
It's
it
a long
at
season.
Philadelphia? Is it?
I don't know. Is it? It's
Because
I
that.
don't
I
know.
mean, I know
I feel like it's
Philadelphia are
at the
incredible, but they're
Patriots.
even better at home. So I think if
Yeah.
it's in Philadelphia, I think I don't think you got much chance there. To be honest.
Is it
Gillette
Gillette? Is
Stadium,
that
mate.
Gillette Stadium?
Foxborough.
We've got a chance.
But that's interesting. On the Viking side of things, they've managed to sign TJ Hawkinson for a new huge deal. Apparently, he becomes the highest paid tight end. So there was a little bit of a standoff this off season of what they were going to do with him. But yeah, they've locked him down and he's getting paid. And I think it just seems to me that there's always every off season or every free agency where they can restructure a deal. There's always this is the highest paid person in that position. It always seems to be the way at the minute.
Yeah.
Like when it's wide receiver,
Mm.
quarterback, or whatever, the money just keeps going up and up and up. But I'll take that because Hawkinson is a great player, great tight end. I'm just excited for the season, man. I'm excited to see what this team can do, and hopefully our defense gets a little bit better.
I mean, you lost loads of players this season. It didn't seem like you were
No,
putting them
we've
back
gone
in.
for a lot of youth talent. Obviously, Brian Flores is our defensive coordinator, and he's got quite a
A
great
great
coordinator.
coordinator
Yeah,
there.
he's got quite a few young guys that obviously, if he gets them playing well, then I'm not complaining. But yeah, it should be interesting. We've got a nice Jordan Addison is our wide receiver 2 in replace of Adam Thielen this year. So interesting to see how he gets on in his first rookie season. But yeah, I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it. Obviously, Kirk Cousins, if you've seen him, he's got a huge tash. He's got handlebar tash like Hulk Hogan, and he's balling out this year, mate. He's balling.
I'm not gonna lie, he is
He's
turning into a
jokes.
bit of a legend.
He's got
But
self awareness as well. He knows that he's a bit of a character, and people play
he's
on
been,
that. And
yeah,
he's pretty funny. Did you see?
might as well.
There was they did this little skit, all the NFL players for the NFL script. Yeah, that was quite funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's wearing his
he was
chains.
wearing his
Yeah,
chains.
Kirko. But yeah, it should be interesting this season to see what happens. I think Damar Hamlin has also been
He's
put into the 53-man Bills squad as well. Which is interesting. Yeah, which is
not-
incredible considering what happened
Wow.
to him last year. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's mad. I didn't realise. So there's a tennis player, women tennis player called uh,
Yeah.
Pegula, I think
Yeah.
that's her name. Her her parents own the Bills.
I saw that. I saw that. Yeah, I remember seeing a post about what she was it last year or something like that. She put a post out. But yeah, I didn't know that. That's pretty mad. I think it was to do with off the back of Damar Hamlin's incident.
Yeah, because I think it's her mum had
Yeah, yeah.
a heart attack or something like that. So it very much hit home for her during that season. But yeah, no, I thought that was quite
No, no,
crazy.
me
I had
neither.
no idea.
We'll end NFL on one thing. If you're gonna pick a Super Bowl champ this year that can't be your own team, we're not doing that.
Okay,
Who do you think will be
okay.
champs this year? Obviously, Kansas City Chiefs are champs from last year. They beat the Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles, in a crazy Super Bowl last year. But yeah, who do you think
Hmm.
is going to be champs? Is it going to be same old, or is it going to be a new team that rises to the top?
Oh, that's tough. I feel like I wouldn't
Wow.
mind the Ravens
Yeah,
winning. I feel like Lamar Jackson needs to get to a Super Bowl at some point. Um, yeah,
fair play. I
I'd
like
say
that
the
shout.
Ravens.
I like that shout. I'm gonna go for Joey Burrow, mate, and the Bengals. Never won it.
Oh yeah.
Um, so yeah, I just want to see that happen. I think it'll be quite cool. Obviously, Joey Burrow's an
Hmm.
absolute don. So yeah, I'd just like to see that happen
Oh
and
yeah.
mix it up a little bit. You know, Chiefs are starting to start a little bit of a dynasty on the go at the minute. I know. You
I
don't
know.
want it to
I'm not
become
liking it.
boring. Yeah, that's it.
Don't mind the boring
Yeah,
Patriots fan.
you've been there, seen it all, mate.
Yeah.
Also, going back to the quarterback thing as well. If what happens if Mac Jones goes down? Would you would you say no to
I don't know.
little Tom Brady like coming back for like finish the season off or
I would not
something?
say no to that.
That would
I
be
would
pretty
never
epic
say
if that
no to that.
happens.
It's so good. Like we go 0-2. Mac Jones gets injured. Bring in Tom Brady. We go 15-2 and just wins the next 40. Like that'd be
I
great.
mean,
15
with Tom Brady,
bounce,
you can
win the
never
Super
rule it
Bowl.
out. Anything can happen with him, you know. So we'll move to F1. What
Too
was that,
busy
mate?
owning.
Sorry, in Birmingham
He's too
City,
busy
being a
owning
shareholder.
Birmingham.
He showed up for the first game,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, what a guy.
I
He
know.
was in the pub
What a
with
don.
Birmingham fans, and they were just screaming at him, and he was like, apparently,
What the fuck's going on here?
I saw a couple of videos, and he was wearing some like white jeans or something with a big, like, huge, like trench coat, which probably cost him like a load of money. He was just with these
Yeah.
tattooed geezers in the Birmingham pub, like probably wearing stony, and like the contrast is so
Sick.
like different. um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'll move to
This
F1.
is
Uh, Not been the most exciting season, has it, so far, Sam? To be honest with you. No.
no. No. It's going very much the same way it always has. Get a
Yeah,
bit more
yeah.
exciting with the rain coming in. And then Verstappen just winning anyway, despite it. It's fun seeing the other teams. Other teams are getting better, but still
No, no.
nowhere near the dominance that Max has right now. And the fact that Max is able to do it in all conditions, like
Yeah, it
it
was
was
terrible,
really
wasn't
wet.
it, in Canada? It was awful. I mean,
Yeah,
he's going for his 10th win in a row, which I
yeah,
think is a record. I think
it
Schumacher,
would be. I think, yeah,
yeah,
and
or something
Vettel had
like that.
9. I think.
Maybe someone else as well. I can't really remember, but yeah, I mean, fair play to Matt. I know they've got this far superior car, but he's a superior driver as well. You got to give it to him.
Oh yeah, I feel like if you put him in the same car as the others, he would still be winning. Maybe not by as much, but he'd still be winning, and maybe not
Yeah,
10 in a row or 9 in a row, but
I mean,
he'd be up
you can
there
only
every
look
single
at
time.
Checo's
He's that talented.
performances. You know, Checo won a couple of races at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh, the championship's on. Like, we're going to get a little bit of a Hamilton-Rosberg battle." But
Mm.
mate, he just fell off. Like
Yeah. Well, even Christian Horner seems to be confused. He's like, he doesn't understand why Sergio
he
isn't
crashed
doing as
again
well.
today in free practice.
Because it is
Apparently, he
weird.
spun off, went into the gravel at in
Really.
Monza, and bumped his rear wing. It's just unusual. Like he's proper
Yeah.
fallen off it. He's feeling the heat.
Yeah. I think what heat is there to feel after the teammate wins 9 in a row?
Steve for
There's no
next
heat
season,
there.
maybe.
I think the fact that the fact that Horner said like his seat is safe,
Absolutely
surely
not.
that can't be
Especially
the
not Red
case.
Bull, mate. Not Red Bull. They're cutthroat.
No, exactly. So I feel like he's
I
still on the hot
the
seat.
guy that was putting him under a little bit of pressure was Daniel Ricciardo, and he broke his wrist last week, which was
Yeah,
unfortunate. Yeah, proper
unfortunate.
unfortunate. Yeah.
Probably should have taken his hand off the wheel when he knew he was going to crash. But again, that's without being inside the crash myself
Yeah.
or being in
I
that
think it
position
was
where you're
was it Oscar Piastri? I think he went into the barriers about 5 seconds before him. And I think he was taking the same line as Oscar, so he had to like divert his line, and maybe that's why he kept his hand on the steering wheel for an extra
yeah,
second or two longer, and then that was it. He hadn't got
yeah.
crushed, and he's broken his wrist, I think, at the minute.
Somebody to be as
Unlucky,
Daniel Ricciardo has been unlucky
so
his whole
unlucky.
career in F1. Such a shame. But like he still comes back and he comes back strong. Like he came back strong in the race last week.
Yeah, he's a shame.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a
just a
shame.
shame.
Obviously, F1 drivers have got a bit superhuman, so we'll see how long his wrist heals. Because usually on any normal person, you'll be out for about 6 to 8 weeks or whatever. But I know Lance Stroll healed up pretty
Yeah,
quick at the start of the season when he had a wrist injury. So
yeah,
yeah, we'll see what happens with that, and whether it's inevitable. It's going to be a Red Bull win, but whether it's going to be Max or Checo, most likely
yeah.
Max. We shall see. Cricket.
Mm.
Did you watch any of the 100 finals? To be honest, because I didn't. I didn't.
Um, I I saw the women's a little bit. The eliminator that got called off because of lightning, and I think the Oval Invincibles won that. And then I think who won the men's one? The men's one was quite mad because the team batted first got like 200 or maybe had like 170 or something. But I think like Sam
Really?
Curran hit like 60 odd. Yeah, right at the end. I think the hundreds. I don't watch enough of it, but it is
Yeah, I
exciting
don't.
when I do
It's
watch it.
on. It's quite good actually. It's on at like BBC One at like 6, 7 o'clock, and it's attracting a load of people to watch it. But I think probably maybe for you and I that after the Ashes series, I was probably a little bit like cricketed out. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I'm watching it straight
Definitely.
for about 6 weeks. I was like, probably should just give it a rest and like not watch anymore. So yeah, to be honest, I
Yeah.
didn't really watch much of the
No,
100 this
exactly.
year. But I'm not knocking it. It's a great competition. It's getting more
Yeah.
eyes on the sport. That is. I-
Yeah. Just waiting for the
Definitely,
ODI World Cup
definitely.
now.
That's the end of the year, isn't it?
I
Ben Stokes just walked
think so.
into the side as well. I love that.
Which I think is fair enough at this point. I think it's rough that what's his name? Who batted number 3?
David Milan. Milan.
Is it like Ben Duckett or what's his name? That's playing really well.
I don't know.
I forgot his name.
You have to Google it, mate.
What's his name? I don't know. But like he's not in the team
Right.
at the moment.
Bit hard.
I feel like it's a bit
See
not unfair, but for him just
Yeah,
to walk
I
back
get
in the
that.
team is a bit like, ooh.
I get that.
But,
Just because his he's the big name England Test captain. It discredits all the work that the other guys have done in ODI format throughout the past year or two. For him to just walk back in, but I don't know. I don't know where I stand on that because Ben Stokes is a big game player. He just does turn up. So what?
Oh yeah.
He's made for that occasion, which is you can't. I think England are playing New Zealand in a T20 series at the minute. Did they?
Yeah. So they won the first game. Yeah. Yesterday or the day before, I think. But yeah, won the first game, which is pretty sick. I think David Milan playing sick again.
Easy.
We won the second one as well.
Really?
We absolutely battered them, actually.
Wow,
won by 95 runs.
Big score.
Johnny Bairstow hitting... it's Harry Brook I was talking about. So he's not in the initial ODI
that's
team at the
unusual
moment.
Because he played really well in the Ashes at times, and that's unusual.
That's what I mean. But Johnny Bairstow hit 86 and Harry Brook hit 67 with 5 sixes. And they
that's
got
pretty impressive, to be fair.
But
pretty impressive.
Them.
Yeah, it's looking good for English cricket at the minute. So we'll see what happens with the World Cup.
Yeah,
looking forward to that. Where is the World Cup this year? Do you know where it is? Because that'll depend on if we can actually watch it or not.
Very good point. 2023
India.
I
don't know what the time difference is.
Well, the matches will probably be on a bit later. It'll be like IPL time.
That's not too bad.
4 o'clock. Actually, no, they're on early, actually. So 9:30 your time. So the 5th of October it starts. And England play New Zealand in the first game at 9:30.
I mean, I'll take that. Have it on in the background at work,
Oh, yeah. That's mad. It's got the replay of the previous final in the first game of the season. The first game of the tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, of course it was. Yeah. The famous final. Yeah. Forgot about that. We haven't had a World Cup since then.
The extra margins.
I know the I one.
I know we had the T20. Yeah.
2019.
Yeah, we haven't had
so it must be every 4 years they do that format.
Yeah.
It's just unusual because you've got different World Cups, but in different formats. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, fair play. Any tennis news? I know the US Open is started or whatever.
US Open is on at the moment. Murray got knocked out in the second round to Dimitrov. Alcaraz winning still. Djokovic still winning. I think Holm got knocked out, which is quite a surprise. Tsitsipas got knocked out because he plays like shit in Grand Slams. Honestly, I don't understand how any player can play so badly.
Because he's got such a good ranking, ATP ranking, isn't he? And then he just
he's in the top 10. What was it? Every time. So yeah, it's good. A couple of people are retired. John Isner and Jack Sock are both retired.
Iconic, longest game ever, isn't he? You got?
Oh yeah, longest game. He also has the most aces ever in history. So yeah, two big Americans of the game. So it'll be interesting when they're gone. But yeah, no, it's looking good. The tournament. To be fair, the rest of the British contingency are doing actually quite well. There's quite a few that got through, so fingers crossed that can continue.
Yeah, I don't know if Emma Raducanu's, but I think she's still probably recovering from an injury that she had. But yeah, because she's
I don't think she is playing.
She obviously won the US Open, was it? Not last year, the year before. But yeah. Any golf news? Anything going
on? Victor Hovland won the FedEx Cup. Yeah, great win. Won it by 6 shots, which is quite insane. McIlroy somehow managed to come 5th, and he hurt his back on the first day. Well, he hurt his back during the week last week, like playing with kids or something. And then he come and played with like his back spasms and managed to somehow not shoot over par at all. So that was a bit mad. Yeah, that's kind of the golf season. Long season ended. I think we're looking for the Ryder Cup soon, which will be quite fun.
Yeah.
Nobody's quite sure who's going to get picked. There's been a couple of odd winners in the not odd winners, but unusual winners in the normal events this year, like the person who won the Open, like Wyndham Clark has been playing insane. So it's whether the Americans choose the players who are on form or players who are great, like Justin Thomas.
Yeah, because he's like a staple, really, isn't he, for Europe? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Justin Thomas is US, is he? That proves my golf knowledge, doesn't it?
American.
I'm thinking of, who am I thinking of? Rose. Is it Rose? It's in Rose, yeah. That's it.
Dustin Rose, yeah.
No.
Also not mentioned, but he probably won't play.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. I think the World Champs Athletics was on last week, which was pretty exciting to watch, to be honest. Caught a bit of that. A couple of highlights for me was Josh Kerr for Great Britain winning the 1500 metre gold. That was pretty impressive because there's the Norwegian fella, Ingebrigtsen, who's literally just tearing up the game right now. So yeah, for him to beat him in that, I think his favoured event is pretty impressive. I think Ingebrigtsen did win the 5,000 metres in the end.
He did, yeah.
A couple of the 100 metres finals, in particular the women's, was pretty exciting. Shikari Richardson just came from nowhere in lane 9 to win it, which was pretty cool. But yeah, and then I think the 200 metres lady, Shikari Jackson, I think it was, Jamaican lady. She was so close to breaking the 200 metre world record.
Yeah.
Like, she was proper going. Yeah, she's pissed off she didn't get it.
She was pissed off that she didn't.
But yeah, I actually enjoyed the athletics. I think it was pretty good to do.
Yeah. We just got tickets today for next year. There's the Indoor World Championships in Glasgow.
Yeah.
So we just got tickets.
I saw on your Instagram the other day. Bit of a tangent, but you were watching some cycling event. That's pretty cool.
The Cycling World Championships were in Glasgow. Well, and it was like it's the first year that so the Cycling World Championships kind of encompass loads of different cycling events, including like road cycling, off-road cycling, and all that, like BMX stuff. And they all did it within like over a course of a week, rather than being different world championships for each. So like the whole week, it was just there was cycling going on everywhere, and literally like 5-10 minute walk down the road, and we were like watching the whole thing. Because they did the road race on the first Sunday, the men's were from like Edinburgh to here, and then they do like 10 laps around Glasgow, and then finished, which was mad because we literally went and watched it for like an hour, and then came back and watched it on the TV, and they were going past everywhere we know, and also like the weather was ridiculous. It tipped it down like in different bits of the course, and it was only going through Glasgow. It's not the biggest. But different parts of the course were completely dry or completely wet. And like the leader, I don't know how, he was, I think, 15 seconds ahead. And then he fell and like slid into the barrier. And then he was 30 seconds ahead.
What?
Like it was like superhuman, the effort that was put in. And he ended up finishing like 2 minutes ahead of everyone. It was ridiculous. After doing like
all 200k. Because it's just, like what you said, 200k is incredible. Like, it's nuts. And I don't know, what's Glasgow like in terms of hilly? Like, is it up and down, or is it relatively flat?
Oh,
so again, even
there
more.
There are a lot of hills. Disgusting. There's some disgusting hills.
There were so many cyclists as well. Like nice. you were filming them go past, weren't you? And it was like literally never ending. Like big group of them.
Yeah, tons of them. But like you'd like go up the West End and just for like a walk, and there'd be like cyclists who were in their leotards, just at the coffee shop, just getting a drink while doing their training and stuff. Cool. It was quite cool.
Shout out Glasgow, mate. Shout out Glasgow.
Yeah,
And that pretty much
banging place.
wraps it up. I don't have much else to talk about. Any other stories from you? Anything else?
Not particularly. Mostly just obviously the Spanish FA president or whatever his name is, just ruining it all. Yeah, he's been suspended.
I
And
saw a
hopefully
mad story
more comes
that
of that.
apparently
But
his mum went on hunger strike, and apparently she had to be hospitalised because she went on hunger
she's
strike
now
because of how
hospitalised.
the media are portraying like her son, the witch hunt on his son. Bro,
Witch
the
hunt.
guy did it on live TV. Like what? Like they're not making things up. Literally, it was being filmed for everyone to see.
You can see it. You can watch it. Yeah. And the fact that she has said what happened, and the fact that people are calling her a liar, despite being able to see the evidence, is horrific. And yeah, fair play to all the players who've said they're not going to play. But it sets it back again after what was such a good World Cup. Like the games are really exciting.
Really well.
Yeah. And it just puts a dampener.
I think
on the
they had a little bit of
which it just isn't needed.
controversy over their head coach, didn't they? I think before the World Cup started, I think leading up to the World Cup, I think they had a lot of players resign from their national squad because the head coach was quite abusive and quite nasty. Like, so the head coach has got some history anyway between the players. And that's why they've got quite a new young squad because a lot of their old
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know the
playing.
reason, but I knew that
They
a lot of
resigned
players
or took a
weren't
step
playing.
back because they don't want to play under that coach. So a lot of their squad is young up and coming, ladies. So yeah, there was a little bit of friction between the Spanish head coach and the Spanish team anyway. And now you got this on top of it. It's just like, what is going on with Spanish FA football? Like, it's pretty mad. It's pretty mad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that pretty much wraps up the podcast for me. I think, I don't have much else to touch on. Shout out Sugar Sean O'Malley as well for becoming the featherweight champion in the UFC world. So shout out to him. And yeah, I don't really have much to add. So I think let's wrap it up. But yeah, we'll catch you again next time. Probably post in the next couple of weeks or so. But yeah, enjoy the weekend of sport, and we'll catch you again next time.